So it was a bit of a moment of memory lane there when Deirdre just brought up this story about what I call my day in the principal's office. And this is the project she's referring to. It's called Demonstrate, and there's actually quite a bit of information online. But I won't talk about that now. This is what I want to tell you about is this project that's a joint project with a number of students, including Camille Crittenden, who's in the back, and who else is from my team here? Well, we have been working on different forms of engagement using developing tools for the same kind of dialogue that Robert Reich talked about this morning, which is how can we get people to actually consider each other's opinion and reflect on it and and engage constructively. So we've been doing a number of versions of this, what we call opinion space, and the latest one is here. It's called the free speech version, and we invite anyone to enter it and participate. It just takes a few minutes, so you can just pull this up on your browser. But I'm going to give you the results of what we have so far. So this is, again, the topic here is about how should university campuses facilitate free speech when there's potential for violence. And so the interface asks a number of questions such as this to, first of all, essentially as a baseline, just to understand where you're coming from. So how do you answer this on a scale from universities should encourage freedom of speech even if it is dangerous. So you can say if you strongly disagree or agree with that. Then you answer several of these questions. Then you come to a point where you see a screen like this where there's a number of suggestions. These are what other people have entered, and you can click on these to rate what other people have, the texts that other people have entered as their responses to this issue. And then you can, so this is how you do the ratings from not insightful to very insightful, and then you share your own perspective. And that's the way it works. And then afterward, you can go in and rate others, and then your own perspective gets rated. So we put this online about a week ago, and here's a plot of the participation rate. I'm happy to say that in this week, I think largely because of this symposium, it got a big spike in activity. So we are now up to about 160 participants. In fact, if you go to the site, it says 211, but about 40 of those are we estimate to be just test trials, so we discount those. This is a plot of the age group, so it's interestingly split between different age sectors. And here's the answers for the first question, which is about universities should encourage freedom of speech even if it is dangerous. You see are strongly leaning toward the danger side, not too surprising from our audience, which by the way we recognize is fully biased because of our ability to communicate. And if this ever got on Breitbart or something like that, it might shift quite dramatically. Everyone has the right to speak freely at a university, so that also you can see is very strongly skewed to the right. This one is university professors should never bring personal politics into the classroom, and so this is skewed strongly to the left. And the last one we asked is, I'd like to see more campus events exploring controversial topics. And that's almost like just a linear ramp up to the right. So interestingly, you see a distribution, so not everybody's agreeing or extremely on one extreme or the other, but there's sort of what you would expect from a Berkeley audience. Then there's the open-ended questions, the texts. And this is, we received 69 responses to that open-ended question, and then we tag them according to topics. So this is what it looks like. You have a lot of the suggestions had to do with transparency and security, and then here are the top rated. And I won't go into details about how we do the rating. It turns out that there's a very nice formula called the Wilson score that we can use, and this is on a scale of 5 basically, and it shows that these are the most highly rated, again, by peers responses. And you can see the first one is an annual tradition of inviting controversial speakers and actively encouraging this, which is an interesting suggestion. Number 2 is to engage students in active dialogue and then receive training on how to reduce conflict and peacefully assemble. The third is to offer an online open square for discussions, perhaps moderated by students. And the last one is intentionally supporting students in the skill to listen critically, which was very interesting because that's exactly what Robert Reich brought up at the onset of the day. So the site is online. You can enter it and try it out.